All right, so check it out. So like I said, I was gonna do this yesterday. I ended up having a pretty long dinner. It was a surprise birthday dinner that I got, so I wasn't able to come back in the shop. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you guys how to take this. Well, I'm sorry, take this and turn it into this. You can obviously see the springs are a little bit different than these. These are actually from the Prospec rears. These are actually part of the Powerstroke. Now, what I don't like about these springs for this truck, for this particular truck, the monster truck that we're talking about, it's too stiff. And I really don't like how stiff it is. I like more of a plush feel, especially with such a big truck. That being said, I like to swap all this out. Now to do, like I said, this to this, we need to first take this out. And by the way, I told you guys I was going to teach, or not teach, well, yes, I'm going to teach you guys how to bleed the shocks, but also let you know what part numbers you need. So this is the first one. This is the actual shock kit that you get. Okay, that is these right here that you're gonna get in here with an extra set of springs that you're not gonna need anyway, because you're gonna need the Prospec shocks, springs. Second thing you're going to need, like I said, is the spring kit. So this is the one from Proline. All right, that's the part numbers right there. And you're gonna need the rears because they need to be longer, obviously. Just to kind of give you guys an idea, let me open this up. So I like to use the blues, which are the soft. Okay, let's do this. These are always fun to get out, especially when they get hooked up. Okay, this is the green, green and green, green. Sorry, green and green. All right, so these are the blues. These are the softest ones you can get compared to what comes in the box. All right, you obviously see there's a height difference, but we need that because we're going to shorten the length of the shock to bring down the center of gravity on these. All right, so if you see, you can see how much more this one comes down, and this one I can barely come down. All right, so these are gonna be a lot softer, and it's also gonna help with the ride height of the actual truck. Cool? Now that's, so I showed you the shocks kit part numbers that you're gonna need. I showed you the spring part numbers that you're gonna use, and you're gonna use the blue ones. Second part you're gonna need is, if you're doing two sets of these shocks, meaning front and rear, you're gonna need this. This is from J Concepts. These are the Traxxas limiter. All right, that's the other part number there. You're gonna need that to limit the amount of length here. Cool? So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that as well. All right, so we're gonna move these out of the way. Next step is we need to open up the shock cap. All right. That being said, you have now access to the nut for the piston. It is a 5 millimeter. You're gonna take it, you're gonna just open it up, take it out. The little nut's gonna be right there. And what you're gonna do is you're kind of gonna have to just pull this out. If it takes a second, there you go. And it just dropped. All right, so this is the little piston. This is where the fluid goes through. So you guys got it against the white background. Okay, there's a little washer on the other side, so make sure the washer is facing down. All right, that being said, you're gonna put this back in. Inside of this J Concepts limiting kit are different spacers. So they have 1/4 inch spacers, and then they have 1/8 spacers, okay? You don't get enough to do a whole truck with one kit, so that's why you need two. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 of that 1/4 inch spacers. We're gonna add them right inside there, okay? Now what that does is it now limits the length of pull. Now, we're gonna put this back in so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. You're just going to take that nut, screw it back in. Remember, washer side down when it comes to the piston inside of the shock. Okay, just tighten it, give it a good snug tight. It is a lock nut, so you're good. All right, now you see that? Now I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you pull it out of the box brand new. Check it out. Okay, so you're gonna see you're almost about 1/2 inch, which is, that's where, like I said, this is shorter. It's gonna help you out, cover that. but it will also shorten the suspension travel and also bring down the center of gravity for the truck, which will give it better handling. Remember that. That is the point of doing this. This is why you want to do this. All right. That being said, we're going to try out some different oils. I'm just going to keep it stock today. 30 is what normally comes on trucks right out of the box. It's about 30 weight. All right, it's pretty good for what it is. If you want a more of a plush feel, you can go with something even lighter. If you're doing extreme bashing with this truck, which again, I mean, you can do whatever you want with it, but I personally wouldn't be extreme bashing with this thing. That's why they build bigger trucks, bigger things like, you know, Armas and the X-Max and other big trucks that you can go bashing with. Cool. All right, so what you're gonna do now, we're going into now how to bleed the shock. All right, first thing you're gonna do is you're going to drop some oil in there. Okay, don't go all the way to the top, because what's gonna happen is the first stroke you're gonna push, it's gonna push the oil up. Okay, if you see it getting too far up, all right, right there, we got it. Boom, it just created some bubbles. Now we're gonna have to refill it again. Okay, again, not all the way to the top, maybe about, you know, a little bit underneath the top of the shock. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stroke it up and down till you get some bubbles coming up. All right, you probably wanna do this about 8 or 10 times, up and down, kind of spinning it in my finger as you do it. You're trying to get everything lubricated, all the seals that are inside of here, and at the same time, you're trying to get those bubbles to come out, all right? After you're done, what you're gonna do is you're gonna let it sit. If you have a shock stand, that would be best. Keep them obviously sitting. Cool, same thing with this. I'm not gonna bore you with doing it again, so I will be right back. All right, so we're back at it. And now we have just let the shock sit for about 20 minutes, half an hour. I just stopped to get lunch, so I figured I would do that while I waited for this. So when you know that the shocks are ready, you're gonna see no more bubbles. It's gonna be clear. You're gonna be able to see all the way to the bottom. It's not obviously filled to the tip top, so what you're gonna do is just gonna top it off. Okay, just a little bit till you see it reach the top. All right, you don't wanna, again, pull on it again. What you wanna do now is you're gonna take your cap. Now this is the part where I had a bunch of people asking me how I bleed my shocks. This is how we do it. Cool, so now it's filled up. There's no more bubbles inside of it. Make sure that there isn't. You're gonna take the cap. Now again, this is specifically this shock. There is different types of shocks that require different types of bleeding. This one in particular has a little air. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a little hole right there on that side and on this side, okay? That's going to allow the air to escape. So all you want to do is give it a couple spins around. You don't want to screw it down all the way. Probably want to get yourself a little bit of a rag because you're going to get fluid to come out. Okay, I'll show you guys this part. Now what you're going to do is this is going to go all the way to the bottom. Okay, you ready? Here we go. So you're going to see all the fluid come out. Cool. That's not a bad thing. I don't like rebounding my shocks, so I do it where I take all of it out. Okay, so you squeeze it. It's all the way it's tight. Then what you do is you clean off the excess. Okay. Now what you got yourself is a properly bled shock. Okay, it's as simple as that. Some people think it's a lot more complicated. The thing that I'm going to explain to you guys is if you don't, you do this a bunch of times actually after it's done. If you don't do it the proper way, okay, you see how I can go all the way to the top? Okay, if there is still air in the system inside this shock, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get to here and you're gonna feel like tension, like something is pushing back against you. Now don't force it because you might blow the seal, but you just kind of, there's still air in it. So you're gonna have to redo the process. Cool? That being said, put the spring back on. You're gonna put the spring retainer back on. And then I like to spin this down till there is no more slack. See that? There's no more slack. Cool. If it's too high, what happens is the shock now moves. Like, so say if the shock is fully extended, the shock now, yeah, you see that? You see that? So I want to fully extend this. And if they're still playing it, what I want to do is I want to keep going down. And obviously I will measure it a lot better than that. There's still space there. And I think I just heard UPS drop off a delivery. Okay, so it fully extended. Still a little bit. Extend this all the way just to see. Nothing, no more play. Cool. And that is how you bleed a shock, how you bleed the Proline Powerstroke shock for your SMTs. This is how you build it for a better performing truck, all right? This is what I think is best. There's gonna be guys out there that think their way is the best, which is completely fine. Everyone has their own opinion, but again, that is the way that I do it, the way I love to do it, and this is how I'm building my customer's truck. Cool. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. More tips, more tutorials coming up soon. See you guys later.